Welcome to GR Hub Mathematics and Statistics lessons. Today we are going to be considering similar and conjugate sorts under what I'm going to be calling sorts part 4. So the question is, what are similar sorts, or when are sorts said to be similar? Two or more sorts are said to be similar if they are multiples of the same sort, okay? It's as simple as that. When two or more sorts are multiple of the same sort, they are said to be similar. Now, look at the example. 2 root 3, 3 root 3, 6 root 3, etc. are called similar sorts, or are considered similar sorts, simply because they are multiples of the sort root 3. Again, looking at this example, if you go further to looking at this example, 2 root 7, 5 root 7, 6 root 7, etc. are also similar sorts, simply because they are multiples of the same sort root 7. Okay, now moving ahead to the idea of conjugate sorts. The idea of similar sorts are that simple, so you don't have to really emphasize that they are simple. Okay, now the idea of similar sorts would help you in simplifying problems on sorts when you want to take like terms. That's where you really find the idea of similar sorts applied, when you want to take like terms, when solving a problem on sorts. So the idea of similar sorts will help you in that instance. Now let's move to conjugate sorts. So when are two sorts said to be conjugates of one another? Two sorts are conjugates of one another if their product gives a rational number. So if you want to check whether or not two sorts are conjugates of one another, all you have to do is to multiply them. If you multiply them and the result of their product gives you a rational number, then those sorts are said to be conjugates of one another. Now let's start with considering a general example, or a general instance of two sorts that could be conjugates of one another. So if you look at this, you will notice that I have here root m plus root n and root m minus root n. Now multiplying both of them clearly gives m minus 1. You can actually simplify such multiplication using the idea of difference of two squares. Okay, so by difference of two squares, root m plus root n multiplied by root m minus root n will give you m minus n, and that tells you that m minus n cannot be an irrational number. It is certainly a rational number. Hence, root m plus root n and root m minus root n are conjugates of one another, because their product gave you m minus n, which is assumed in this case to be a rational number. Okay, now let's go to the next case, where we consider a specific instance. So if you look at root 2 plus root 3 multiplying root 2 minus root 3, we want to check whether or not these two sorts are conjugates of one another. Again, the rule simply states both of them are conjugates of one another if they multiply to give a rational number. Now notice, by difference of two squares, root 2 squared minus root 3 squared would give you 2 minus 3, which is minus 1, and minus 1 is a rational number. I'm going to be making videos soonest on numbers, where we are going to treat a part of the history of numbers and the types of numbers in known to man. Okay, so we are going to be looking at that video subsequently, and I want you to watch that video when it's out, so that you can actually understand in depth the idea or the basics of numbers. Okay, so let's move ahead to the next specific instance. Now notice again that these two sorts are conjugates of one another. Again, why are they conjugates of one another? It is simply because their product gives you minus 44. Minus 44 is a rational number. Their product gives you a rational number, and in this case minus 44. Now, how did we multiply both of them? Again, using the idea of difference of two squares. Difference of two squares would now be, by difference of two squares, you will now have root 5 squared minus 7 squared, which will give you 5 minus 49. Now I'd love you to check up on the idea of difference of two squares. It is that simple. Okay, so if you consider other instances, specific instances, root 5 minus 1 multiplied by root 5 plus 1 will give you 4. So that makes them conjugates of one another. Again, the emphasis remains. Two sorts are conjugates of one another if and only if their product gives a rational number. So that is the same thing for this last example. 2 plus root 3 and 2 minus root 3 are conjugates of one another, since their product gives you, in this case, 1, which happens to be a rational number. So do like our video, share our video, make comments on our videos, and most importantly, please subscribe to our YouTube channel for more mathematics and statistics videos. Thank you very much.